So welcome to another video in the Oakland offices. You might, by the time this comes out, have already seen a load come out from myself and Greg from the Data Literacy Academy. This time we're talking about something entirely different. First of all, you'll see that we all got the memo for green tops today in the office, so we are on brand, and you'll have to apologize. You'll have to ignore my voice we've picked the only day where I've had a cold in the last 3 months. But today is to talk about AI. Everybody out there is talking about AI. We've been doing some work in the background to investigate, invest, and figure out what our approach to AI is. And as always with Oakland, we will be releasing one of our famous guides. However, this time, we wanted to bring the people behind the guide in front of the camera, partly because of those of you who have a minimal attention span. Instead of jumping straight into the guide, you can watch our series of short videos to get you up to speed, but it's also a different content for you to consume and learn about our approach to all things AI. So before we jump in, I'd like to introduce you to the guys that do sit behind our guide and have invested in figuring out what we're going to say about AI. Mike, Joe, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Joe Morgan. I'm a principal consultant and AI product lead here at Oakland.
Hi, my name is Michael Galadek. I'm the AI engineering lead here at Oakland, so I've had the coding of the AI agents.
So we'll get on to agents. That's a small snippet of what's to come. So everybody out there in the market's talking about it. All of our clients seem to be talking about it and asking questions. So what are we hearing out there in the market? What is it that people are asking about or talking about with generative AI?
I mean, potentially before that, we should probably do a history lesson of AI and what we're actually talking about here, which is large language model capability and the ability of large machine learning models to generate text and to take a semantic understanding of what that text means. This comes out of a lot of the machine learning work that's been done over the last 10, 15 years with deep learning and neural nets. But with the rise of big large language models like ChatGPT or Gemini or other ones from big tech players, we've been able to harness the power of like semantic understanding and augment the applications that we're building with these language understanding and processing capabilities. And it's that we're going to talk about today, in particular, the generative AI portion of it. I appreciate that in the AI landscape, people talk about machine learning, or they talk about statistics, or they talk about predictions from other models. But today, I think we're just focusing on that generative AI.
Cool. So if we're focusing on that, what are our clients saying? What are the questions that they're asking in relation to what Mike's just described?
Well, I think firstly, our clients are really excited. So there's a huge opportunity here. I mean, I guess to build on what Mike said, this is a huge leap forward in terms of what AI can do, particularly in the generative space. I guess when I reflect back on the client conversations that we've had, it's also not quite as easy as it sounds. So for a lot of our clients, the organizations we speak to, they've got going, which is brilliant. They might have done a proof of concept. They might have brought some of their data together with some off-the-shelf AI tools and got a first project over the line. And what we often hear is, that's great, that generated some excitement, it gave everybody a demo, it started to bring to life the power of AI for stakeholders in that organization. But the question that comes up really quickly is, well, what next? So where, and I guess in the current climate particularly, it's always about, where's the ROI? How am I actually going to make a difference with this? How am I going to get value out of this technology? And what we found quite a few clients, and but with our partner organizations as well, is it's quite easy to get dragged into what I call a proof of concept trap. And what that means is you can get a first project out there, you can generate some excitement, but then it kind of fizzles out. It doesn't really stick into the organization. And then you almost go back to the start of that cycle. You have another idea, you do another proof of concept, everyone gets really excited, and then it fizzles out again. And I guess we've been a little bit later to come out with some of what we think about AI because of that, because we're looking at that problem and we're thinking, what's going wrong here? This technology is really powerful, everyone's really excited, but a lot of companies aren't making that next step where they're really getting value and making a difference for their customers. And when we reflect on that, what we're often struck by is, what's the preparedness of the AI think working in this company? So if you think about the technology's there and it's powerful, but your business is unique. You have your own processes, your own challenges, your own complexity, and you're not going to be able to just wave all of that away because AI has come along or because you want to do a proof of concept or a new solve a new problem with GenAI. And really, therefore, the question that we've been thinking about is, how do we get the AI ready for you? Because your business is complicated, you have your own challenges, and you can't wait 10 or 15 years to do some huge transformation to get yourselves ready for AI. So when we're sort of talking to clients, when we're putting out our thought leadership, you can read about it in our guide, the question we always want to start with is the AI ready for you? How do we make it that you can take the sort of enormous power that's inherent in the AI that Mike talked about and put it right in the middle of your business, not on the side as a demonstrator or a proof of concept that entertains people over their lunch break, but as something that's really going to make a difference for years, if not decades to come.
So that's really interesting, Joe. You set a really good context there of like what we're hearing in the market. We've got a bit of history of where this has all come from. But one of our big mantras is how we bridge the imagination gap. So you've alluded to there's no shortage of, shiny new tool or silver bullet or, I've got a chatbot. So what's the real opportunity? If we've got all the hype, why is it not really happening in the way people expect? And why are people getting stuck at that POC level?
Yeah, well, so I think there's two things I would say. So I think the first one is thinking really hard about the capability of the AI solutions that you're building. So if you put this into a human context, chatbots are, a really powerful example of how AI can be put to work, but they're just one example of a huge range of tasks that might exist in a business. And if you think about, you had a new employee and they came in and they read all of your documentation and then they sat slumped in a chair until you asked them a question and they would answer that question and slump back in their chair, you wouldn't really be that impressed, would you? And I think, the same is really true for AI. If we're really serious about activating the potential of this technology in a commercial context, and you've got to think, how is it going to make a difference for me? And it's not to say there isn't a really powerful place for chatbots in things like services environments, but really, if we want to get after the big stuff, if you want to really move the dial on the big problems that your business is facing, we need to think a little bit beyond that, and that comes down to the knowledge that you equip these AI solutions with, the influence that you give them, the task orientation that you create around them, and also the way you train and educate people to use them. Because, we all know in our own lives that the technology that fits most seamlessly into what we're doing is what we adopt, and the ones that don't are the ones where you get friction and everyone gets really frustrated with it or they just ignore it. So that's one part of it. And I think the other part is thinking the right way about what is this opportunity for my business and where does the value lie? So, we're in the business of making money here. We're not in the business of just entertaining people or grabbing their attention for a minute on social media. And really for us at Oakland, it comes back to that everything data mantra of unstructured data is the prize that's on offer with AI for both for us and for our clients. So, if you take a simple stat from Gartner, 90% of the data that businesses hold is unstructured. It's not in neat rows and columns in a data warehouse or a spreadsheet. It's audio files, it's free text, it's images, and particularly in the space of language models and generative AI, it's that free text information that really for decades businesses have been sat on safety reports, customer feedback, correspondence, all of that kind of stuff has had a huge sort of rich seam of insight within it, but it's just been too expensive to analyze. And if you think about you're a business leader and you're wanting to get after some of that insight, then someone has to read it and interpret it and think about it. And until very recently, your only option was to employ some people to do that. And that can be very expensive, and it can also, depending on the task, be quite dull for those people.
Indeed.
Suddenly with AI, you have these almost endlessly scalable virtual workers that you can take to that data. And I guess, everyone watching this, I would urge them to think, how much insight could you be sat on in your business as previously it's just been too expensive and too time consuming to analyze? If you can unlock that, then you can make huge gains. But then, as always with these things, there's a but. You have to have solutions that have the power to make a real influence in the business. And secondly, you really have to have some clear, tangibly valuable problems that you want to solve. And, real risk with AI. This isn't the next blockchain. It is huge. The capability that's on offer is like nothing we've had access to before in a commercial environment. But you have to use it in meaningful ways to solve real problems, not just for a demo or to get people excited. To say you're ready for AI or you've done it, that will inevitably end up back in that POC trap we talked about before.